and I recognize Councillor Hurley for our prayer and pledge today.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Dear Lord, I wish to thank you for all of the bounty that I have been the beneficiary of over my entire lifetime. I thank you for all the joy that you brought to us this year, as usual, in the Christmas season. I am grateful and thankful for there being no wars that we are presently involved in. I ask you to be kind and pray and look over the people who are suffering in Ukraine. And I thank God for the lieutenant governor and the governor who have led us, and for all of the people that I've gotten to know over the last 6 years here at the Governor's Council and in the State House. And I am very grateful for all that I have been given. And thank God that I made it here. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to recognize Councillor DePalo for a motion to record advice and consent for the financial warrant.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I recognize Councillor Kennedy for a motion to record advice and consent for the pending list of notaries public and justices of the peace.
So moved, Governor. Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I recognize Councillor Devaney for a motion to record advice and consent for the reappointment of Bernard Fabricant to the Industrial Accident Reviewing Board as an administrative law judge to a 6-year term, which will expire on September 21, 2028.
I did want to be recognized because you said to me that
Second that.
reminds me first. So I am very happy to make this vote. He is hardworking, conscientious. We're just so lucky to have him, and I'm proud to make the motion for his appointment.
Second.
So there's a motion and a second. We may begin the roll call.
Councillor DePalo?
Yes.
Councillor Hurley?
Yes.
Yes.
Councillor Jubinville?
Yes.
Councillor Devaney? Yes. Iannella?
Yes.
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 Okay. I recognize Councillor Devaney again for a motion to record advice and consent for the reappointment of Martin Long to the Industrial Accident Board Reviewing Board as an administrative law judge to a 6-year term, which will expire on January 4th, 2029.
No, excellent nominee. And for Mr. Fabricant, I do want to mention that 19 years he served us, and he has implemented some wonderful things that they're working with that they made it so much easier for them to expedite their work. So we've got two of the best, and I'm very proud to say that I am for them, and I ask the council to vote for them.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We may begin the roll call.
Councillor Hurley?
Yes.
Yes.
Councillor Jubinville?
Yes.
Councillor Devaney?
Yes.
Councillor Iannella?
Yes.
Councillor Duff?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. We have Councillor Devaney again for a motion to record advice and consent for the appointment of Kareem A. Morgan to the position of Associate Justice of the District Court.
Thank you. My first impression was he's young. But then when I look further, he is bringing things to the court that I haven't seen. He has had a lot of involvement in unions and contracts, and we don't see that. And we see a lot of things coming up in schools where there are sexual accusations of teachers, of coaches, and he has handled all of these. And we don't really hear that. So I'm very proud to put his name in motion for us to vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion.
Second.
There's a second. We may begin the roll call.
Councillor Ferreira?
Yes.
Councillor Jubinville?
Yes.
Councillor Devaney?
Yes.
Councillor Iannella?
Yes.
Councillor Duff?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councillor DePalo?
Yes.
Councillor Hurley?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
To the governor.
Yes, Councillor.
Lieutenant Governor, when we spoke last time, you requested that it was late, and so that I should take this up first. And so I am presenting it. This is the first time in 23 years I am presenting such a thing. A past assembly, we took 10 votes, imagine, 10 nominees. And I made a mistake on one. Now, Councilor Ross investigated, and I have the letter, and he found a rule that I can correct my vote only by the vote of this council. So I am asking respect from the councilors to allow me to make this motion. I'm not going to make any statement of any sort. I'm just making the change of the vote, which will not change the result of the vote. So I'm asking for a second.
We have some other votes that are still on the agenda that we have to address before we address new
There's
business.
no second, fails.
So you know what? I served on the city council for decades, and there was never a time when a councilor didn't respect another, give them a second. When I tried to have the public access back, I didn't get a second. God works in mysterious ways. I did it without you. So I just wanted to say, I wanted to change the motion. I made a mistake because it was 10 and they were coming so fast on my vote for Lauren and Green. And it won't make any difference on that vote. And I wasn't going to make a statement. And I'm very sad that we're going into another year and we're going to continue this system.
Council, your motion will be noted in the record today.
Thank you.
Okay.
I move that we vote on both Hank Naughton and Rachel Hickey today.
Second.
Okay, so we can do those now, if you'd like.
Yeah.
So we're going to move
That's.
in.
Lieutenant Governor, can we vote on the motion?
No second. I seconded his motion. Kennedy's motion.
The motion second.
The vote today.
Yes. Okay, there's a motion and a second.
We have Jennifer Lennon.
Aye. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oh, anyone opposed?
No.
No.
No one's opposed. Okay, got that. Do you have that recorded? Okay.
Opposed only to not have activity. He made a motion to vote on both of them.
Yes.
I think
Okay, I'll make it two separate motions. The first one is to vote on Rachel Hickey today.
Second.
There's a motion and a second in favor of voting for the advice and consent for appointment of Rachel Hickey. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There is a further motion relative to Hank Naughton, if you wish to make it.
I'd make that motion to vote on Hank Naughton today.
Second. Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
One opposed.
Opposed.
Who opposed? Okay. All right, so I do want to acknowledge the motion for Jennifer Lennon and Councilor DePalo.
So moved.
She's being,
Statement.
we have a motion and a second for the appointment of Jen Lennon to the position of clerk magistrate for the Marlborough District Court.
Thank you.
There's a motion and a second. Councilor?
I am very proud to be voting for someone that's so extraordinary and that has been bypassed for 2 years now. I am offering the statement for the public record of the Governor's Council. I believe it should be documented in our Governor's Council records. I would be remiss if I did not submit this information today as the council votes for Jennifer Lennon as clerk magistrate of the Marlborough District Court. Regarding the clerk magistrate nominee, Jennifer Lennon, in February 2021, Attorney Lennon applied for clerk magistrate in the Air District Court. She has a great background, including past district attorney, handling profile cases. She has been working 14 years in this Air District Court in the clerk magistrate office. When the clerk magistrate retired and the opening was posted, after she applied, she received a letter informing her that she would not have an interview. To this day, no one in the State House will tell me who wrote the letter. I received many calls informing me how outrageous this was, as Attorney Lennon had been working 14 years in that A District Courthouse in the magistrate office. They all commented how qualified, how kind, how helpful to all the workers in the courthouse, and how compassionate she was to all the people coming before her. Instead, Damian Riddle was appointed February 12, 2021. He had donated $850 to the lieutenant governor. Within a month of applying fast track, Mr. Riddle was voted by the council and serving as a clerk magistrate in that area court. On May 19, 2021, I wrote the lieutenant governor a letter, copied to JNC Chair Dacia and Councilor Robert Ross, asking the necessary question, why? The chair of the JNC informed me, one sentence, that he could not respond, see the governor's attorney. The governor's attorney told me to speak to Chair Dacia. Today, at last, justice is served. The council will be voting for the most qualified, compassionate clerk magistrate to the Marlborough District Court. And I will be proudly voting yes. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, Councillor, we have a motion and a second. We may begin the roll call.
Councillor Jubinville?
Yes.
Councillor Devaney?
Yes.
Councillor Iannella?
Yes.
Councillor Duff?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councillor DePalo?
Yes.
Councillor Hurley?
Yes.
Councillor Ferreira?
Yes.
I recognize Councillor Duff for a motion to record advice and consent for the appointment of Rachel M. Hickey to the position of Clerk Magistrate of the Ipswich District Court.
So moved, Governor.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. We may begin the roll call.
Councillor Devaney?
Yes, and may I just say, I should be talking this time, but I just want to say that I wouldn't be voting on the same day, but we do have regulations within the time limit. But she is so qualified, and she has the age, 56, and she has, you know, to me, she's bringing so much to the court, and she has compassion stamped on her forehead. I'm very proud to talk for her.
Okay. Are you recorded? Okay.
Councillor Iannella?
Yes.
Councillor Duff?
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councillor DePalo?
Yes.
Councillor Hurley?
Yes.
Councillor Ferreira?
Yes.
Councillor Jubinville?
Yes.
Okay. I recognize Councillor DePalo for a motion to record advice and consent for the appointment of Harold P. Naughton Jr. to the position of Associate Justice of the District Court.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We may begin the roll call.
Councillor Iannella?
Yes.
Councillor Duff?
No.
Councillor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councillor DePalo?
Present.
Hurley?
Yes.
Councillor Ferreira?
Yes.
Councillor Jubinville?
Yes.
Councillor Devaney?
Yes.
Thank you. I recognize Councillor Iannella for a motion to record advice and consent for the appointment of Robert L. Jubinville to the position of Clerk Magistrate of the Framingham District Court.
Thank you very much. I make a motion that we approve Robert Jubinville.
I second.
Excuse me.
Wait, we have a motion, please.
Excuse me.
Please.
Make a motion that we approve Robert Jubinville as a clerk magistrate of the Framingham District Court.
I second and would note that he left the room.
There's a motion and a second. Yes, Councillor.
Today, I am asked to vote on my Governor's Council colleague, Robert Jubinville, to the clerk magistrate position in the Framingham District Court. I'm not voting because he's a friend, colleague. Okay? Today, I want to put on the record, I pledged 23 years ago to comply to the policy of one of the finest governors of this Commonwealth, Governor Cellucci. Governor Cellucci prohibited anyone in the state system to apply to a judiciary position until they left that position after 6 months and 1 day. I will not vote for any governor's councillor. This is the only administration who has appointed governor's councils to clerk magistrate positions, as well as their own appointed presently working deputy councils. When Councillor Jen Casey applied for clerk magistrate, Councillor Jubinville said he would not vote for her unless she resigned. She didn't resign. She got her last council check the day after she was sworn in as clerk magistrate of the Dudley Court. Councillor Jubinville did not resign, like Councillor Casey. Now I am asked to vote for him. Like Councillor Casey, Councillor Jubinville was getting paid his governor's council salary as he sat his clerk magistrate hearing before the council. This is the first time historically in the governor's council that a governor's councilor and his daughter applied for 2 judiciary positions just 6 days apart. Councillor Jubinville for clerk magistrate and daughter to be a judge. I asked the councilor if he was not 78, would he have applied for judgeship, which pays $207,000, clerk pays $175,000. He replied no. One of the responsibilities of a governor's councilor is to vote for clerk magistrates. How many applied for this clerk magistrate position? What does this administration say to those applicants? It is a clear conflict of interest for a councilor to simply take the position of a clerk magistrate that they have taken an oath to appoint. 2 of my present councilors and former Jen Casey recently reported to the Boston Globe columnist that I do not get along with the council. One word is incorrect. I do not go along. It is not always popular to do the right thing, and I try. Governor Cellucci had an open governmental policy, which I am committed to continue to follow. My vote will not count. I take no joy, as it is someone I've been sitting beside, but I will be the only councilor voting no. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Councillor DePalo?
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I just want to say, because I think appearances and faith in government matter, to the extent anyone's concerned that a councillor is being appointed to a clerk magistrate position, I can confidently say that Councillor Jubinville is eminently qualified for this position. He's one of the best respected criminal defense lawyers in the Commonwealth. He's served the Commonwealth and the state police before that. When I joined the council, he's someone who's been a vocal advocate for common sense criminal justice reform and for speaking out about the Harvard study on racial disparities. So despite the unusual situation, I couldn't be happier to vote for Councillor Jubinville to take a clerk magistrate position. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Kennedy?
My job is a very simple and narrow one. It's to decide if the person standing before us as a nominee is qualified for the job. And even Councilor Devaney during his hearing said multiple times that Bob Jubinville was qualified for the job. Bob and I haven't always agreed when we've been in this chamber. There were times when we've had heated arguments, but there's no question in my mind that he is absolutely positively qualified to be a clerk magistrate. That's our function. I'm voting for him.
Okay. Councillor Ferreira?
Thank you. I'd like to echo the sentiments of my friend Councilor Kennedy, saying that Bob and I have had some very heated arguments in this very chamber. It's been a little bit public, but is he qualified? Exceptionally well. Does he have the right temperament and empathy for people? He does. And that's why he has my vote today. Thank you.
Councillor Iannella?
I'm like Councilor Kennedy and Ferreira. I've never had a heated argument with Bob. Bob is an outstanding individual. He has the experience, he has the temperament, and he has the utmost character. And you know what? I'll never forget Bob. I think it was about 6 years ago. We were at the coffee shop. He says, I got a call from Councilor Devaney. We gotta help her. She's panicking. And you know what Bob did? What a man of compassion. He convinced me, not once, on 2 different cycles. You better believe it, and you know how hard it is to get signatures. And Bob and I, especially Bob, put her over the top, and he got her. And it was cold out then, you know what time of year we get signatures. We stood all day. One time we stayed in Concord, and another time we stayed, I think it was a dump. And you know what? He's a decent, good person. With pleasure, with an honor, a phenomenal appointment that I support Bob Jubinville.
Very courageous.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second by Councillor Ferreira. We may begin the roll call.
Councillor Duff,
Yes.
Councillor Kennedy,
With great pleasure, yes.
Polito. Yes. Councillor Hurley,
As my last official act, yes.
Councillor Ferreira,
Yes.
Councillor Devaney,
Because it's a conflict of interest, I'm voting no.
Councillor Iannella,
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes our business. And I wish to do a few things, as this is my final act as well with you, Councillor Hurley. It has been an honor and a pleasure working with all of you. And as I come to this final moment today, I know that this part of the nominations to the court, to you, the governor's nominations, play out publicly here, in this room, in this space, this beautiful location in our State House. And this is where the public gets to see how these individuals perform at an interview, what their character is, what their experience is, and participate should they wish to weigh in with all of you. And this process over 8 years has worked, from the blind review to applications to a J&C process to your vetting, not only at the public assembly, but to the many meetings and phone calls that you receive and make to make sure that we have the very best people coming out of this process to serve in our courts. I want to thank you for your incredible service for this Commonwealth. I want to thank you for your partnership to Governor Baker and to our team. And together, we have a body of work and accomplishments that we can all be proud of. I will always remember you at noon on Wednesdays. And I look forward to our friendship for many years to come. Finally, I wish to thank Valerie, your office. And I would like to thank Emily for your incredible work. Because they're the ones that do all the work behind the scenes to make this all come together. And finally, I obviously want to thank my family who is here with me today. I want to thank my son, Bobby Rodalakis, and my daughter, Judy, and my husband, Steve Rodalakis, who have given me all of the time and energy and support to have the ability to serve in local government, in the legislature, and finally, in these 8 years with Governor Baker. So I love you and I thank you. And Joe, you can have the final word.
I do want to thank you. It's been tremendous. It seems surreal. Seems absolutely surreal that it's been 8 years. You and the governor have done a tremendous job, over 250 judges. I don't know how many clerks, but you've listened to all of us. You've done a tremendous job. You work tirelessly. Like, you make all of us look not so hardworking, because you work like 24 hours a day, I think. And I want to thank your family, because I know it's been a sacrifice for the last 8 years. Well, your mom's been gone and your wife's been gone, but she has done a tremendous things for the Commonwealth. She's shaped the judiciary for decades to come with the governor, and I just can't say enough good words about it, and what a pleasure it's been to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Kennedy.
I just want to thank you for your friendship and for being so open with all of us over the last 8 years. I don't think there's ever been any administration that, when we call, picks up the phone so quickly, calls us back so quickly, works with us so hard. And I want to thank you for your service to the Commonwealth and for the Governor Baker's service to the Commonwealth. And I just want to say that working with you over the last 8 years has been the honor of my life, and I really, truly am going to miss you.
Thank you, Councillor. Appreciate that. Councillor DePalo?
Lieutenant Governor, I just want to say what we all know, that you make our shared hometown of Shrewsbury so proud. And Central Massachusetts has greatly benefited and will dearly miss your leadership in the State House. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, go ahead. All right. I've only been here 6 years, and you and Charlie have been absolutely amazing. Your calm, cool, and respectful responses under the most ignominious circumstances is something that I long for, but could never find a way to do. You have just shown everybody what can be done when people work together in a cooperative method. You've been very kind to my home city of Springfield, and you're probably the only lieutenant governor that's ever visited all 352 cities and towns. And I think that's a great accomplishment. And it's nice to have people out west believe for once that life doesn't end at 495. And you're a huge part of making that a reality, as was Governor Baker. It's been a real pleasure, and to your son and daughter and husband, you guys are the glue that keeps her together. And you should know that, because she loves you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Iannella?
I'm gonna miss three of you. Mary, it seems like yesterday. You're a great addition to the council. I consider you a friend, and I'm gonna miss you. Bob, there's no one closer here. I'm gonna miss you, but we live close together. You're a friend of me yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We'll keep in touch. Lieutenant Governor, it's been a great ride, 8 years. All I know is, what are you doing? Oh, my son Bobby, what about him? Oh, he plays for this football team. Oh, are you the superstar, or the fullback, or whatever? You have a great mother here. I think she told me, I don't know if my memory is correct. Bowden, what a great school. Daughter, husband, I mean, you got it all. What a wonderful family. It's been a great pleasure to work with you over the last 8 years, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Council.
I just want to give you a personal note, okay? You to reach out and honor my sister Grace and my sister Alice when they died. I will always treasure that, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Like, I best.
Last word.
You get the,
Save the smallest one for the last, right?
The biggest mouth.
The one with the biggest. You know how I feel. I was more than happy to put that in the Globe on the record. I admitted I came in here with my own bias. And through hard work on our parts, we've done a lot of really great work. And I have not only appreciated that, I've have said many times too privately, I've grown to really like you and respect you and your dignity, how you have managed situations in this room with such grace. I don't know that I could have ever done that. You've been a wonderful example for all electeds, but for women. Thank you so much for your service to the Commonwealth, and I will see you October 5th.
she
In
will.
Worcester, riding the brand.
The brand. Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor.
I want to thank the governor and you for all you've done for not only the state of Massachusetts, but for the council, for me, and what you did for the Hoyle Boys Club during the COVID and the money that you sent out there meant the world to them. It meant the world to them, changed so many people's lives. It's been my great pleasure and honor to have served here for a decade. I'm going to miss, well, I won't miss you all because I'll be able to call you. You're all on my favorites on the phone, so we just press a button. But I do consider it an honor and a great pleasure to have been involved in the council with you all. And look, at times we didn't agree on things, but I don't know of any deliberative body in this state house or any other state house that haven't had their ups and downs. But we came into it and we got together and we put those things aside. And I consider you all my very close friends. And anything I can do for any of you, please call. I know I'll call you if I need something. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I wish you all well.
Done.
Thank you very much.